All right, so I'm gonna do a couple box fill questions, code questions that you might come across in the field and on the test. The first one is rather simple. We just need to reference a particular table. So the question asks how many number 14 wires are allowed in a 4 times 1.5 octagon box. So we're gonna have to go to a particular, I believe it's table 22, or sorry, table 23. We're gonna have to just reference an octagonal 4 by 1.5. And if we follow along the column there, we can see that we can fit 10 number 14 wires in that particular box. So the answer is 10, and the rule is 12-3034. Now below here there is a much more complicated question, and in this particular case we need to find the minimum box capacity. So we can pick any box out of table 23 there that can hold 6 number 14 AWG, 2 number 12, 5 Moretz, 2 duplex receptacles, 1 single pole, 4 bare bond wires, and 1 number 12 insulated bare bond. So if we reference again rule 12-3034, it gives us a little breakdown of what we do with each of these particular scenarios. So in the case of just a conductor, it's pretty straightforward. We got 6 number 14s. We're gonna go to table 22, and number 14 has uses an area of 24.6 milliliters. So we just gotta take that 24.6 and multiply it by 6. Which is gonna give us 147.6 milliliters. With the 12 gauge wire, we're going to do the exact same thing. Each 12 gauge wire has a volume of 28.7 milliliters. Oh, what was it? 28.7? 28.7. Times 2, which gives us 57.4 milliliters. Now we have 5 Moretz, and those 5 Moretz, if we take a look at 12-3034, subrule 2, item B, 1 insulated conductor for every pair of conductor connectors, so that's a Moret with insulating caps. No deduction for 1 conductor connector. Deduct 1 insulated conductor for 2 or 3 connectors, 2 insulated conductors for 4 or 5, etc. So what that means is you're gonna every pair of Moretz is gonna represent 1 conductor. So we have 5. 5 is just gonna give us 2 pairs. So that 5 Moretz is gonna represent 2 insulated conductors. Now one thing to keep in mind is, well, that's great. It represents two insulated conductors, but which size? So in this particular case, we're going to use the size of the biggest conductor. So that 5 Moretz is going to equate to 28.7 milliliters. So another 57.4. Now we got two duplex receptacles. So duplex receptacle, because it doesn't specify, we're going to assume it's 15 amps. And because it's 15 amps, that means it's going to have 14 gauge wire going to it. So we got two of them. If we go back to our code, it says 2 insulated conductors if the box contains one or more flush devices mounted on a single strap. So this would include a receptacle. So we need to equate 2 insulated conductors for every device that's on a strap. So we got 2 receptacles on 2 different straps. So we're gonna have to count 4 insulated conductors for those 2 receptacles. So pretty much every device that is mounted to a box is gonna count for 2 insulated conductors. So we're going to take the 24.6, which represents the volume of a number 14, and because we got 2 of them, we got to multiply that by 4. 24.6 times 4 is going to give us 98.4. We also got a single pole switch, and we can assume that that's going to be 15 amps because it doesn't tell us otherwise. That's going to count for another 2 14 gauge insulated wires. So that's 24.6 times 2, which gives us 49.2. The bare bond, we don't have to count. It's not insulated, we don't have to count them at all. Just don't worry about any bare bond conductors. But we do have to count for the insulated bond conductor, and that's because the insulation adds substantially more volume to that particular conductor. So it's number 12, so that is again 28.7 milliliters times 1, because there's one of them. Okay, so now we got to add up all our volumes. 7 plus 98.4 plus 57.4 plus 57.4 plus 147.6 equals, so we got a total volume of 438.7 milliliters. Once we get our total volume, now we're going to cross-reference that with table 23 and find the particular box that can handle that volume, the smallest box. So we're looking for the minimum size box. So one of these square boxes should do. It looks like the 4 by 2 1/8 would work. Is there anything smaller? I don't think so. There's this 2 gang FS box, but that's slightly too small. So we're going to use that 4 by 2 1/8 box in this particular case. Square box. And that's how you go about it.